Radio Alchemy.
Elixir for a new humankind.
And welcome to Radio Alchemy. That's right. We are looking to bring about a new humankind, one that understands that there is some high-level manipulation going on in your lives, around your heads, that you are swimming in a sea of law. You're swimming in a sea of electromagnetic energy. It all affects you. And unfortunately, those that we sit and look at as the controllers know so much more about us than we know about ourselves, that it's so important for us to catch up and to understand where our own power is, to understand what we are standing upon, to find that new ground, and to empower ourselves individually, because a renaissance is happening in you right now, and the revolution is going to be in your mind so that you make correct choices in this collapsed environment, because basically we need a new imagination for the future. All we see is a bunch of destruction, but where's the imagination for a better future? That's what we are garnering here. And so on tonight's show, for 2 hours, we have an incredible special guest, folks. I am telling you, being a volunteer programmer at KPFK is such an honor, because I am a conduit. Us and Team Alchemy are a conduit for such incredible genies of wisdom, people that are so brave, that are out there going up against the biggest odds and the biggest doubts and the biggest poo-pooing and all of this stuff, and continue to do their work, continue to bring forward the facts, and it doesn't even mind what the reaction is. It's about the process, it's about the discovery, and they keep doing it in the face of all odds. On the show tonight is a gentleman by the name of Winston Shrout. He does a series of lectures and has a website that is called Winston Shrout's Solutions in Commerce. Solutions in Commerce? There are solutions in commerce? Well, for those of you that so long ago picked up those groundbreaking books that really started to talk to you about you and all of your uppercase letter names, right? On your Social Security card and on your driver's license, started talking to you about financing statements, started talking to you about the UCC1, started to talk to you, such as Jordan Maxwell has, about the banks running the currency and your birth being in water, and that the law of the high seas is what really rules these little terrestrial zones that we live in. That's the high seas, and that it is commerce that rules over common law. And so what is fortunate is that we have individuals that have cracked the code and are continuing to unravel the complexity in which we live. He is with us tonight because he is coming also to Los Angeles to hold a special seminar, a 3-day seminar from November 5th, 6th, and 7th. And listen what this subject is. The subject is the latest and most effective breakthroughs in mortgage solutions. Tell me if that isn't so timely and so right on, and also interesting that the solution is somewhere in commerce. Without further ado, and me continuing to yammer on, let me welcome to the airwaves very, very special guest, Winston Shrout. Mr. Shrout, thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on KPFK Radio in Los Angeles.
Well, glad to be there, and please call me Winston.
Okay, I will certainly try. If I, say Mr. Shrout again, just forgive me. Well, sir, for one, how would you describe what you do?
Well, I started on this journey quite a number of years ago. I think I first was exposed to commerce in about 1998. There were some first efforts made with some of this technology, or at least some of the information was starting to get around. So I was exposed to it early on, and once I took a real close look at it, I became intrigued. And then certainly I saw the value of pursuing things in this manner as it became obvious to me that certainly commerce is the law of the planet, and it is the operation and interaction that all people across the planet use. And so if you start talking about some of the law forms that we operate with, for instance, if you speak of common law, common law is usage and precedence of a particular people. For instance, in the early colonial times, the founding fathers decided that perhaps the best form of common law that they would use would be the English common law. But if you go into another country, Germany or India or some other place, they have their own common law which does not apply. So it's very hard to reach resolutions in many places on the planet unless you have something that is uniformly used by all the people. And so what has happened over the centuries and over the last, especially the last few years since we've had the Uniform Commercial Code, is that there's been an effort to standardize commerce and the interaction of people to facilitate better trade and better commerce.
Well, that sounds absolutely, regular, homegrown, absolutely lovely. Where are you finding the mystery then? Where is the disconnect between the general population that lives in commerce and how it actually works?
Well, one of the things that you have to come to grips with when you start talking about commerce, certainly you need to define a few words. For instance, generally speaking, the word commerce refers to the business of the king, and then you start talking about trade, and you're starting to talk about business between individuals. But in the meantime, because most of the trade is carried on using the king's money, then basically trade and commerce have been melted together, and so we just generally say commerce. Now, the law form to administer commerce is the admiralty. Now, there's a good reason for that, and I know a lot of people are opposed to admiralty jurisdiction and so forth. However, once you historically come to realize that all of the nations on the planet, with a few exceptions, but most all the nations on the planet operate in bankruptcy. And bankruptcy certainly is a function and administered under the admiralty. And so then the law form of choice for commerce is in the admiralty. Now, the reason I bring that up is simply to point out that admiralty is generally an adversarial procedure. What that means is that it's one guy against another guy, or one corporation against another corporation. But because it's adversarial, the parties that are participating in this game, as it were, are not required to reveal their strategies. For instance, we all watch, the football games, the basketball games, and so forth on the television.
Yes, sir.
And so we have on the football field, we'll have the offensive team and the defensive team, and the quarterback calls a huddle so that he can discuss with his players his strategy, and you'll notice he does not tell the other team what he's fixing to do. And so this is kind of how it is in the working in commerce with the admiralty jurisdiction, is that one party would basically have to be insane to tell the other party what they were fixing to do. Otherwise, why would they be involved in commerce? And so commerce is adversarial in nature, and so when you have one party or one corporation